Chapter 8 The Yoga of Imperishable God. Arjuna said, "What is this God? What is this Oversoul? What is action, best person? And what is Lord of Being declared to be? What is Divine Lord said to be? How and who is the Lord of sacrifice? Here in this body, slayer of Madhu? And how at the time of death are you known by the self-control?" The blessed Lord said, "Imperishable God is supreme. The Oversoul is said to be its own essence, which origins the essence of being. Action is known as creative power. The realm of beings is the perishable essence, and the divine realm is spirit. I am Lord of sacrifice here in the body, best embodied one. And at the last hour, whoever dies remembering me, releases the body, goes to my essence. There is no doubt about this. Moreover, whoever's essence is remembered at the end, one abandons the body, one goes to that Kartuna, always becoming that essence. Therefore, at all times, remember me and fight. The intuitive mind fixed on me, you will surely come to me. Practicing yoga by uniting, by consciousness, by not going towards anything else, one goes to Supreme Divine Spirit, Pratha, meditating. Whoever meditates on the ancient poet, the ruler, smaller than an atom, supporter of all, unimaginable form, the color of the sun beyond darkness, at the time of death, with unmoving mind, with devotion, and united with the strength of yoga, causing the breath to enter correctly between the eyebrows, one approaches this supreme divine spirit, which the knower of the Vedas calls imperishable, which the aesthetics free of passion enter, while wanting they follow the way to chastity. This path I shall explain to you briefly. Controlling all doors and shutting up the mind in the heart, placing in the head the breath of the soul, established in yoga concentration, chanting thus Om, the one syllable, God remembering me. Whoever dies, abandoning the body, goes to the supreme goal. Having undivided consciousness perpetually, whoever remembers me always, for this I am easy to reach. Partha, for the yogi who is also united, coming to me, the great souls gone to supreme perfection, do not incur rebirth, the impermanent house of suffering. Up to the God realms, worlds are successively rebirths. Arjuna, but approaching me, Kartuna, rebirth is not found. As extending 1,000 ages, they know a day of God, a night ending 1,000 ages, those knowing day and night. From the unmanifest, all manifestations originate at daybreak. At nightfall, they are dissolved there into what is known as unmanifest. This multiplicity of beings become existing is dissolved at nightfall without will, Pratha. It comes into existence at daybreak. But higher than this unmanifest is another ancient unmanifest essence, which in the perishing of all beings does not perish. Thus the internal unmanifest is called the supreme goal, which attaining they do not return. This is my supreme abode. This supreme spirit, Bharata, is to be attained by undivided devotion, which within which beings exist, by which all this universe is pervaded. But where in time dying yogis go to non-return and return, of this time I shall speak. Bharata Bowl. Fire, light, day, waxing moon, 6 months of spring and summer, dying, then the God knowers go to God. Smoke, night, thus the warning, the waning moon, 6 months of autumn and winter. There, attaining moonlight, the yogi returns. These two light and dark paths are thought to be eternal for the universe, but one goes to non-return, by the other one returns again. Knowing these two paths, Bharata, the yogis, is not confused at all. Therefore, at all times be united in yoga, Arjuna. The, the, the meritorious fruit which is ordained in the Vedas, in sacrifice, in austerities, and in charity, the yogi transcends this. Knowing all this, he attains the supreme state and realms. Commentary. According to the search results, this chapter is called The Yoga of the Eternal God. In this chapter, Krishna answers some questions posed by Arjuna about the nature of the self, God, action, and the afterlife. He also explains how one can attain him by remembering him at the time of death. In this chapter, there are 28 verses. The main points of the chapter are: Krishna defines Brahma as the supreme, indestructible entity, Adamata as one's own self, karma as the actions pertaining to the material personality of living beings, Advaita as the physical manifestation that is constantly changing, Advaita as the universal form of God that presides over the celestial gods in this creation, and Ahita as himself, who dwells in the heart of every living being. Krishna declares that those who relinquish the body while remembering him at the moment of death will come to him. He sees that whatever one remembers at the time of death, one attains that state, being always absorbed in such contemplation. Krishna advises Arjuna to always remember him and also do his duty of fighting the war. He assures him that with mind and intellect surrendered to him, he will definitely attain him. Krishna instructs Arjuna how to practice meditation by constantly engaging the mind in remembering him, the supreme divine personality, without deviating. He says that such a practice will enable him to overcome all obstacles and reach him. Krishna describes his supreme abode as beyond the material world and unaffected by the cycle of creation and dissolution. He says that those who reach his abode never return to this world of suffering. Krishna explains that the cycle of creation and dissolution, as consisting of two phases, day and night. He says that during the day, all living beings manifest from his unmanifest nature, and during his night, they merge back into it. He says that this cycle repeats endlessly. Krishna reveals that there is another unmanifest nature of his, which is eternal and primal. He says that this unmanifest nature is beyond his manifest nature, and it is the supreme destination. He says those who attain this unmanifest nature never come back. Krishna informs Arjuna about the two paths that lead to two different destinations after death. the path of light and the path of darkness. He says those who follow the path of light go to the supreme abode and never return, while those who follow the path of darkness go to the lower realms and have to take birth again. Krishna concludes by declaring that he is easily attainable by unalloyed devotion. He says that he is the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend of all living beings.